Jan Demschur, a 49-year-old professional window washer, steps into express elevator car 69-A inside the North Tower of the World Trade Center. He is heading toward the 70th floor to begin a shift. Joining him are 5 strangers: a stockbroker, a construction official, a corporate executive, and 2 state tax officials. They are sealed inside a steel capsule, moving upward at 23 miles per hour. At exactly 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashes directly into the North Tower, penetrating floors 93 through 99.
Holy shit!
The impact severs the building's core utility lines, cutting power in an instant. Inside Express Car 69-A, the elevator swings violently, like a pendulum struck from above. The car plunges rapidly through pitch darkness. A passenger's hand finds the emergency stop button and slams it. The mechanical brakes engage with a violent screech of steel on steel, jolting the car to a halt somewhere near the 50th floor. Jan and the 5 passengers are alive. They are also completely sealed inside a steel box, suspended inside a burning skyscraper with no power, no communication, and no way out. From somewhere deep in the upper floors, a low, rumbling roar begins to rattle the elevator walls. It is the sound of thousands of tons of steel beginning to give way. They don't know it, but the entire tower is on the verge of a total collapse. There are no emergency crews coming. The building's command infrastructure has already failed. To survive, these 6 men must identify and defeat 5 separate, compounding obstacles, with nothing more than what they have in their pockets. This is their incredible escape story. The sound echoing down from the impact zone is not a rumble. It is a roar, the sound of thousands of gallons of burning jet fuel cascading down the building's central elevator shafts like a waterfall of fire. Jan moves to the control panel immediately. No power, no display, nothing. One of the passengers, Alfred Smith, presses the emergency intercom button on the wall. A building operator's voice crackles through, "There has been an explosion." And then the line goes completely silent. They are on their own. The first obstacle is the elevator's own inner doors. Express elevators in high-rise buildings are engineered as sealed vaults. When the emergency brakes drop and the electrical relays cut out, mechanical pressure automatically locks the sliding doors shut. An intentional design feature that prevents panicked passengers from forcing them open and falling down the open shaft below. But right now, those locked doors are a death sentence. The air begins to change rapidly. The core of the North Tower contains the building's main elevator shafts. Thousands of gallons of burning jet fuel from Flight 11 are pouring directly down these vertical conduits. A thick, acrid smell of aviation fuel and toxic black smoke begin to seep through the ventilation grates at the top of the car. Jan realizes they have minutes before the oxygen is fully depleted. They must force the mechanism. Jan presses his fingers into the narrow rubber seam where the 2 door panels meet. The other men join him. They pull with their full body weight, fighting the dead resistance of the pneumatic locking gears. For 30 full seconds, nothing moves. Then, slowly, with a grinding mechanical groan, the mechanism yields. They pry the inner doors open and pin them back using the long handle of Jan's window washing squeegee. Fresh air from the shaft rushes in, but the men don't find an exit. They find something that stops them cold. The inner doors reveals a solid, seamless wall of smooth ash gray color, completely blocking their exit with the number 50 written on it. Jan knew there is no way out of this. Because Car 69-A is an express elevator designed to service the upper floors. It passes through the middle section of the building without stopping. It isn't designed to open at the 50th floor. That means the elevator is fully sealed off from these intermediate levels, part of the building's fire isolation designs. They didn't just stop between floors, they stopped in a place that was never meant to be accessed at all. In standard construction, these walls are made of solid concrete. However, to reduce the overall weight of the World Trade Center towers, the architects engineered these hoistway enclosures using dense, multi-layered drywall assemblies. It still looks like a wall with no way through it, because it is. One passenger scrambles upward and shoves at the ceiling escape hatch. It is bolted from the outside, inaccessible. The men frantically empty their pockets onto the floor of the car, searching for anything with an edge sharp enough to cut through the wall. All they have is a set of brass keys, a plastic pen, a few coins, a small pocket knife, and a photograph of a small child, which belongs to one of the men. They have nothing Nothing that could possibly break through a fire-rated wall. This is the third obstacle. No demolition equipment of any kind. The smoke from the burning jet fuel is dropping lower, compressing the breathable air in the car toward the floor. The men drop to their knees and begin breathing through their shirt collars. One passenger draws the pocket knife and drives it into the wall surface. The blade snaps off against the dense material instantly. Another man attacks the wall with a house key. The soft brass simply bends flat on contact. Then Jan looks down at his professional window washing utility bucket. His complete kit consists of 3 items: a bucket of water, a long-handled squeegee, and a safety scraper. The scraper is the critical piece, a wooden handle secured to a heavy brass frame, which holds a flat, rigid wiping blade designed to strip dried paint and grime from glass. It is a tool built for precision cleaning. It has no business being used as a demolition instrument. But right now, it is their only lifeline. Jan disassembles the scraper, sliding the long brass blade free from its frame, takes one slow breath of the thickening air, and drives the blade into the drywall. It bites. White dust erupts from the impact point. They begin to work. This is not ordinary household drywall. The hoistway enclosure is built from 3 separate layers of 1-inch thick, high-density, fire-rated gypsum board, each layer reinforced with woven fiberglass strands. It does not crack or shatter cleanly. It flakes away in microscopic white grains. Jan chops rhythmically at the same point, targeting the gap between the first and second layers. When his arms give out, he hands the blade to the next man. They establish a rotation, a continuous demolition relay to prevent total muscle failure. White gypsum dust billows into the confined air of the elevator car, mixing with the incoming smoke. After almost 30 minutes, they break through the first 2 layers. 1 layer remains. But Jan's hands are now slick with sweat, water from the bucket, and chalky white dust. As he reaches forward to strike again, his grip gives out. And then...
we have another copy. There is the second plane, another passenger plane hitting the World Trade Center.
At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 strikes the South Tower. The kinetic shockwave travels through the shared bedrock foundation of the complex and shudders up through the North Tower's steel frame. Inside car 69-A, the men are thrown sideways. The brass blade slips from Jan's hands, skips across the elevator floor, and disappears through the narrow 2-inch gap between the car and the shaft wall. The men are frozen. Their only cutting tool is gone. The 3rd layer of drywall still stands between them and the exit. The smoke is getting lower. The building structure is weakening. Jan looks at the 5 men around him, and for the first time since 8:46 a.m., he genuinely does not know if they are going to make it out. Jan looks down at what is left in his hands. The empty brass handle of the squeegee, a hollow metal tube, blunt on both ends, designed to hold a rubber wiper. It is not sharp, it is not pointed, it is a handle. He grips it like a chisel, raises it over his shoulder, and hits the wall. It works, but not like the blade. It is not precise. The brass handle is a blunt force against a surface that demands patience, but it punches through the fire-rated gypsum in a small, concussive bite. The men rotate again, Jan to the next man, then the next. They work in near silence, conserving what little breath remains in the car. After 45 minutes of continuous, punishing work, 1 hour and 15 minutes after Flight 11 struck the building, the brass handle punches through. A pinprick of fluorescent light appears on the wall. The men attack the breach with their bare hands, punching and kicking at the ragged edges, pulling chunks of drywall away with their fingers until the hole is wide enough for a human body to fit through. They go through one at a time, squeezing past raw fiberglass edges, tumbling forward onto cold floor tiles. Jan looks around. They are inside a 50th floor men's restroom. The lights are on, the floor is clean. It is the most ordinary room any of them have ever seen. They are out. Their relief lasts approximately 2 seconds before a squad of firefighters stands in the restroom doorway, staring at the 6 dust-covered men who have just appeared through a hole in the wall. One of the firefighters finds his voice first. "The building is coming down. Leave now." The 50th floor is completely abandoned. Jan and the 5 passengers find the nearest emergency stairwell and begin their descent, 50 flights of concrete stairs, moving as fast as their exhausted legs will carry them. Somewhere around the 12th floor, the walls shudder. An unearthly grinding roar fills the stairwell. The building sways hard. Someone above them screams to run. Unknown to them, the South Tower has just undergone complete structural collapse. The group breaks into a full sprint. At 10:23 a.m., 1 hour and 37 minutes after Flight 11 struck the building, Jan Temshur and the 5 passengers walk out through the North Tower lobby and onto the pavement of New York City. Emergency workers hand Jan a cup of water and an oxygen mask. His hands are bleeding from the gypsum and fiberglass. 5 minutes later, at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapses.
Alright, north end and 50. I want the units to come in and be intact.
Express elevator car 69-A is compressed into dust in seconds. Had Jan and the 5 passengers taken 5 minutes longer to break through that final layer of drywall, 5 minutes, they would have been inside the building when it fell. After escaping the towers, Jan walked uptown to his wife's office, where they were eventually able to get to their home in Jersey City. When asked a year later if he would return to work as a window washer, he said, "I'll go back. But when I go back, I only want to clean windows that I can get to with a ladder." Jan Temshur's brass squeegee handle was recovered from the rubble of Ground Zero. It is permanently preserved in the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. It is exhibited under the category Improvised Tools.